All right.
Okay.
All right. So good morning, families, students, and parents for all being here this evening. I am Devin Figliomeni. I am the principal here at Seven Springs Middle School. We have a group of staff that are joining us this evening that have helped put together this great presentation to help inform you guys a little bit more about what it means when your child takes an accelerated class or high school class during middle school. Mrs. Seibert just introduced herself a little while ago. She is our 8th grade assistant principal. She works very close with our math department and our world languages and some other areas on our campus. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Beth Long go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Beth Long. I teach accelerated science at Seven Springs Middle School, as well as other 6th grade science classes.
Hi, I am Sandra Farrar, and I teach 8th grade pre-algebra and 7th and 8th grade Algebra 1 honors.
Hi, I am Mr. Lee. I teach Mandarin Chinese.
Hola, I'm Miss Agueda, and I teach Spanish 1, a high school credit class.
My name is Mr. Arriaga, and I teach the Foundation of Robotics class.
Thank you so much. This group of teachers, along with some other teachers that could not be present, supported Ms. Seibert in putting this presentation together to help out with tonight's event. So the first thing I just want to say again is thank you to all of our parents and families and students that are here tonight. You guys are the reason why your kids or you are in these courses because of the hard work that you're doing or the great support that you offer to your kids. And especially the partnership that you have with us as a middle school and even your partnership in maybe your elementary school to really help get your student where they need to be and play that active role in their education. So we really appreciate that and we value that at Seven Springs Middle School. I just want to connect you with our Seven Springs Middle School mission. As you see right there, our mission is to provide rigorous and relevant learning while fostering respectful relationships. So our teachers value the piece that with them, with their students and with each other, students and students, building relationships is a big piece in student success. And then of course, through that and having those strong connections with each other or with kid to adult, we also are able to get kids diving into content and learning that's rigorous and tied to what they need to learn. And our mission connects to our district's mission and vision, which is we as a district exist to provide a world-class education for all students. And our hope is, and our vision at Seven Springs is the same as our Pasco County schools, is that all of our students will achieve success in college and career and life. So as we think about how we support our students in middle school, we strive to help our kids be the best that they can academically while they're with us, but to set them up so when they go on to high school and wherever they decide to go after high school, whether it's college, a vocational school, maybe go right into the workforce, that they're ready for whatever is coming at them. And then our learning goal for this event tonight is what academic and behavior habits do I need to do in order to be successful in acceleration or high school classes and beyond? So that's kind of where we want our kids to kind of keep that mindset. And then maybe as a parent, what can I do as the parent to help my child in this area? With our students being in accelerated or high school level courses in middle school, they're having a great success with preparing for college. So we're going to talk a lot about the benefits that your child has by engaging in these courses in middle school to set them up for success in high school, to help them get into college, because we know college admittance is very difficult nowadays and their criteria is getting harder and harder. So it's really important that as parents and school, we work together to really help our kids have that experience as the whole child of not just academics, but maybe other things that they're engaging in to really support them to help them achieve their goals. So thanks again, and I'm going to turn it over. I think it's to Mrs. Seibert.
Hi, good evening. So what I wanted to talk about is the accelerated and honors classes. It really is a credit to you as parents in making sure that your children are really prepared and are motivated to take these courses. And we're really impressed that we have so many students in our school at Seven Springs Middle School that are taking accelerated and honors classes and high school courses. We actually have over 370 students that are taking high school math class. So we will go deeper, definitely go deeper into what that means and what track that leads them to, because they are taking high school math classes or high school classes or accelerated courses at the middle school level. One thing we do want to say is that when your child is taking accelerated and honors and high school and honors classes, there is some criteria that we do have, only because we know that the rigor level that the course entails, as well as we want to make sure they are prepared for high school rigorous courses. So requirements to stay in or for all the accelerated and honors classes is that we do really want them to make sure they have a C or a higher in those classes, because remember, at this point, it really is the easiest it gets. It only gets harder from here on out. And that, they develop that consistent work ethic and that they have excellent attendance. Attendance is really, really important. Because in these courses, when you're out, you're missing that instruction piece, which is hard to get back. So we want to make sure that your students are attending school every single day. And if not, then make sure that they are, and if they're out because they're sick, that they are definitely going into My Learning and doing the work in My Learning, because the teachers have all the curriculum that they're doing in the classroom in My Learning. So when they're out, we really encourage them to definitely go into My Learning and do the assignments. One thing is that if they are not maintaining a C or higher, or even if they do have a C, please make sure that you are meeting with your child's teacher, having that phone conference or Zoom conference, and really digging into how we can support your child, as well as how you can support your child, and what is it that your child needs to do to be successful in that course, because we want all of our students successful who signed up in these courses. Support for all the accelerated courses and honors, we did want to let you know, because as parents, just because, and we strongly believe, just because your child is in accelerated classes or in high school classes, it doesn't mean that they're not going to struggle. Part of learning is struggling, because that means that they are learning and they're growing, and they have that open mindset and growth mindset to say, hi, I'm ready to take on this new content. So one thing we do want to say is that there are supports out there. One thing we did build in the master schedule, in your child's schedule, every single child's schedule, is a study hall. That study hall is about 20-25 minutes of where they can actually get the content teacher support. So let's say they're in first period class and that they do not know, they don't understand what was taught that day. They can actually kind of hang back a little, ask the teacher, I really don't understand what was taught today, or I'm confused about this part of it. And then could I please have a pass to your study hall class? I can come to you and go over this with you. And the teachers will give them a pass to go and see them for the study hall so they can get that academic support. So we have a built-in time where they can get the certified teacher for that content area to support your child in the concepts that they're struggling with, or maybe just need a little more boost of understanding. Okay, so that's one thing we have. We also have daily assignments in My Learning for previewing and reviewing. So you can actually see in what's coming up and also going back and saying, wow, I really didn't do well on that quiz. I'm going to go back and look at how I did and review those assignments. And then also is that we are also having NJHS students. They are going to be providing tutoring sessions twice a month, which we are really excited about. So please remember, and I know that some students, when they're taking high school classes or when they're taking accelerated classes, they sometimes feel embarrassed that they need help, but just because you're in accelerated and high school courses does not mean that you don't need help, because there are going to be concepts you've never had before in these courses. Because again, we do believe in providing rigor to our curriculum. Okay. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigliomini, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's such a great point, though. It doesn't happen by accident that your kids are in accelerated honors class. They have worked hard for this. But oftentimes some things might have come easy to them in elementary school or early years in middle school. So when they feel that challenge, sometimes they kind of feel like, oh, it's easy to maybe give up or maybe think about getting removed from the class. But we really want them to understand that that comes with part of pushing yourself. And Ms. Seibert works hard on placing students and working with families and students and teachers and the appropriate level that students should be at. So we want to make sure you guys know where they can access support and encouragement as well, that no, this is okay for them to feel the struggle. And we've got a lot of teachers and support on campus to help them even when things get a little tough. So I think that's perfect. It's a great point to bring up.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we have accelerated math. We did want to let you know the pathway that your child will be taking for the accelerated math. Math is one of those courses that it definitely builds on one on top of the other. So when your child is in accelerated math, we really did take that time to look at the data. So it is not, as Ms. Bigliomini said, it is not an accident that your child's in accelerated math. There is a reason why your child's in there. So when your child's in accelerated 6th grade math, they will be covering all of 6th grade content as well as some of the 7th grade content. So then when they're in 7th grade, they'll be doing rest of the 7th grade content embedded and with the all of 8th grade content. So they're actually covering 3 years of math in 2 years. So then that way, when they're in 8th grade, they can actually take Algebra 1 honors. And Algebra 1 honors is a weighted high school class. And we'll go into deeper in what that means, but it is a weighted high school class. And then we have some students in 6th grade that are in accelerated 7th math class. And if they are in accelerated 7th math class, then when they are in 7th grade, they will be in Algebra 1 honors. And then in 8th grade, they will be in geometry honors, which is a weighted high school class also. So I just wanted to let you know the supports we do have for math are the study hall again. A lot of our math teachers, they want their kids to come into their study hall time and get that support. That's the time where if you need just a little more time to take that test or the quiz, or maybe you don't understand a homework assignment that was given to you and you just didn't get a couple of problems done because you didn't understand. That's a good time to go into that study hall and see your math teacher and then, get that concept, get the questions answered for that concept. Also, we wanted to let you know is that we do also have Zern for students in 6th grade and 7th grade math courses. And Zern is an online support curriculum that is actually, if you are having difficulty, let's say, if you're in accelerated 7th math and you're on systems and you don't get that, Zern, you can actually go on Zern and just focus on systems. And so then that way you can practice and practice and practice, and it'll explain to you how you do it and what the steps are. So it's really a great support for that, honing in on that specific concept you may not understand.
So we had a question in the chat, and it was a great one. the difference between honors and accelerated courses. So I know Ms. Seibert just went through a lot of that with math. And as we go through each course, we're going to let you know what's the difference, meaning what is honors, what's accelerated, and what's a high school level. So you can know the difference and kind of how kids are selected or identified, we should say, based on previous scores, previous recommendations from parents and teachers, things like that. So we'll talk further about that as we hit each slide, but feel free to ask for more clarification if you need it.
So Ms. Farrar is going to be talking about this slide.
Yeah, if you could go back one slide, Ms. Seibert, please.
Okay, let's see if I can
Are
do
you able
that.
to do that? If
I'm
not,
going to
that's okay.
try.
I just wanted to talk about that's okay. I can just talk
Down on the
about it.
bottom, Susan.
Okay.
The end of course exam for Algebra 1 honors.
There we go.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
So-
Minnie.
The Algebra 1 honors classes, it is a weighted class, and so is the geometry honors, and we'll talk about the weight in just a minute. But it also, at the end of the year, we take an end of course exam, so they don't take the FSA in Algebra 1 honors or geometry honors. And the end of course exam, whatever they score on that will be 30% of their final grade, which is important for that. So they'll do a semester 1 grade, a semester 2 grade, and then their end of course grade, and they will average all of those up to get their final grade for both of those high school classes. The 6th grade accelerated math class, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, but they take the 7th grade FSA?
No, 6th grade accelerated math does take 6th grade FSA, and it is a middle school course. So I know you guys were asking what's the difference between honors and accelerated. Accelerated means that we are covering that math class at a very faster pace than a regular math class because we're covering a year and a half of grade of content. So that's why it's accelerated. But 6th grade takes 6th grade math and FSA, and then 7th grade accelerated math take the 8th grade FSA, because remember, day 1 that they enter in the accelerated 7th math, they are starting 8th grade content. And then the rest of 7th grade content is just embedded in the 8th grade content.
Yes. And then for the academic support during study hall, if you have a 7th grader who is taking Algebra 1 honors, and we even have a few 7th graders who take geometry honors, we have our planning period as algebra teachers is the same time as 7th graders do their study hall. So Ms. Seibert made sure that we had that time so we could still have them during study hall. So even though they're not 8th graders, we still have the same study hall as the 7th graders or planning period. So they can still come to us for that. The other supports for accelerated math, the 6th and 7th graders do the Zern, but the algebra has Math Excel, and so does the geometry, which is an online program that's associated with their online textbook.
And I also wanted to chime in on that. That's a good point, Ms. Farrar, is that 7th grade math teachers also has planning period when 6th grade students have study hall. So if 6th graders have accelerated 7th math, they can actually see the 7th grade math teacher for support.
Yes, I know a lot of my 7th graders didn't want to come to my class during their study hall because they were afraid that there'd be 8th graders in there that they didn't know. So I was like, no, there's nobody in here. You can come in and I can help you. So make sure that they feel free during their study hall to come see us. Okay, you can go to the next slide.
Okay.
So I think you've already touched a little bit on the requirements to stay in Algebra 1 honors. Of course, we would like for them to keep it at 75% or higher. And really that is for, in Algebra 1 honors, that is for the students' benefit because this is a high school course. So it does affect their GPA. And you don't want to start off your high school career with an accelerated class, sure, but you have a C in there, which is going to bring down your GPA. So we want those kids to make sure that they can do what's required to have that score of it. We'd like to have them have A or a B. To do that is, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. It's a consistent work ethic, which means even though we may not count homework for a grade, they still need to go home and practice that. We do go over it, when they come in the next day to see if there's any questions. But if they haven't done their homework, then they're not going to have any questions, and therefore they're not getting that learning. The excellent attendance. I know that there's a lot of people who are missing because of COVID and the circumstances, but a lot of teachers do offer Zooms. And if your teacher offers a Zoom, you need to make sure that you're Zooming in so you don't miss instruction, because that is so important. You miss 1 or 2 days and you've missed a whole concept. So it's important we move at a fast pace, that you Zoom in with us. College admissions, you need at least 4 high school math classes, starting with Algebra 1, and you have to pass the EOC for the Algebra 1 class to count towards your diploma. Your grade, if you're taking an honors class in high school, so instead of a 4.0 GPA for every honors class, if you have an A, it'd be a 4.5 GPA, which those are really important to get those honors classes and to make those A's to raise up the GPA.
And one thing I do want to say is with high school math class is that I do want to emphasize colleges do not care when you take those. If you take Algebra 1 in your 8th grade year or in your freshman year in high school, what they do expect is that you do well, that as Ms. Farrar said, that you get that A or a B, because that's Algebra 1 honors is a college admissions course requirement, and colleges will be looking at that, what your child got for college admissions. And so they will have to report that grade, whatever they got, whether they took it in 8th grade or 7th grade or 9th grade, they will have to report that grade on their college application.
Yes, absolutely. And then the academic support, again, utilize that study hall. That is the best because you can get individual time during that study hall. So it's important that they utilize that. My Learning, look at the modules every day. We post what we're doing that day. So if you're absent, you can look on there, see what we're doing. We post videos of concepts that we're learning. And then the Math Excel that goes along with your textbook is also being used for extra support. It's kind of like a Khan Academy type of video and questions.
Ms. Farrar, somebody asked about the 6th grade online textbook for math. I don't know if you can answer that, or maybe Ms. Seibert. How can they access that?
The 6th grade math book should be in their, when they go into Pasco Connects.
So all of our students know how to log into My Pasco Connect. If you need help with that, we do have some instructions on our website and the district website. And when they go there, they log in with their student number and their silly password. Like I said, all students should know how to do that. And then they can access on their dashboard will be all the different buttons, and they can find their textbook there. If they need help, definitely encourage them to ask their math teacher tomorrow.
Yeah. And it's called Kindle Hunt, the book. Okay. Are there any more questions for this slide? Ready to move on?
Somebody's asking, what supports are there for Beyond students? Are we saying Beyond for math specifically? Yes.
The same as it is for the other classes. They definitely have that study hall time where they can, and it's more fluid actually in Beyond. When you're in Beyond, if let's say you're ahead in language arts, you can, that teacher can, I mean, that student can actually ask the teacher and say, I'm ahead in language arts in Beyond, so can I please go into math? And they will actually let them go into the math Beyond class so they can have that extra time to do math and get that teacher support too. So there's more fluidity in Beyond program.
And Susan, there's also a question asking if the NWEA math assessment is at the 8th grade level for 7th grade students.
Yes. Yes. If you are in the when 7th grade accelerated math students are in the accelerated 7th math class, then they will be on the 8th grade NWEA.
Good questions.
Yes.
And we also had one more about the difference between Algebra 1 honors and geometry is students will take Algebra 1 honors first, and then they'll go into geometry honors. And the weight is right there on the screen that it's a half a point weight that will impact their GPA. And that's the same weight system for the high school because it is a high school course. So it's not any different.
Okay, we're going to go on to the next slide. Ms. Long?
Hello again. So for accelerated science, we actually are beginning our first year with accelerated science with our new sixth graders that came in this year. Many of the requirements and or the information is similar to math. So we'll go through that kind of quickly. So for sixth grade, if a student is in accelerated science, they'll be taking all of sixth grade science and about half of eighth grade science. In seventh grade accelerated, they will then take seventh grade science and the other half of eighth grade science. And that will set them up to take physical science honors for their eighth grade year. This sets them up for success in chemistry and physics when they get to high school. So those two lab science classes that they would be taking in high school, it prepares them well for that. So as you see, college admissions require 3 high school natural science classes and at least 2 with the lab. So this will prepare them well. The supports that we have for accelerated science are similar to math. We have academic support in study hall. So my accelerated science class is 3rd period and my study hall is 4th period. So I have the same students in 3rd as I do in 4th. So we just kind of roll over into study hall. And if they need any help at that time, then they are there still in my class to get that extra help if needed. And also, we also do the daily assignments in My Learning. They're there at the beginning of the week for preview. If a student does well looking ahead at what's coming up, that's there. And for review. So they're posted for the entirety of the quarter so that they're able to go back and look at any parts that they maybe struggled with. We also provide support for science fair. So our accelerated students will be required to complete a science fair project this year. Information is coming home soon, really soon, about that. We're going to be getting started, and we just completed an algae red tide project. Hopefully you've heard a little bit about that. And so that was the model for the students to use to complete their own project now at home. So we've sent home the topic approval sheets. So hopefully that's something that you guys are talking about. And we will be offering a science fair club. We will be offering a science fair club in the mornings, starting, it'll be after next week.
Projects right now.
We'll be offering a morning club it will probably start around 7:50-ish in the morning. And we will be there until about 8:15. So you're welcome to come in a little bit early and come to the hub. And we'll give you more information.
Science projects to you?
So guys, if you need some support, that's where we'll get that for science fair. And your students will get a lot more information about that coming up. I do have a science fair meeting I'm going to next week to find out the district's details about science fair. So that's coming.
6th and 7th.
Okay.
If you could just please mute yourself. We have a few parents that have their mics on. That'd be helpful.
And there are some questions regarding the names of the courses. Some parents are asking the differences between advanced, accelerated, and honors courses.
So for science, I can speak for science, and I think it's kind of the same. The way that I think about it is the accelerated courses are just faster paced courses to get students through content so they're able to go on and move to those honors levels courses that are high school credits. I hope that I said it correctly.
Sorry to interrupt. The question is, what's the difference between accelerated science and advanced science?
Accelerated and advanced science. Okay. Advanced science is, we still just cover 6th grade curriculum. So we're not accelerating the curriculum. We just cover the advanced science standards for 6th grade only.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
Mhm.
The accelerated path will get them to a high school level course in 8th grade. And again, it's taking multiple grade levels and teaching it. So they'll be exposed to the 6th and 7th grade content in 6th grade. Or I'm sorry, 6th and 8th grade content in 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade content. It just moves at a very fast pace to cover it so they're ready for physical science. And that's very similar to math. So when they're in that, like Ms. Seibert and Ms. Farr said, 6th grade is going to be covering 6th and 7th content. 7th grade is 7th and 8th grade. So they're ready for Algebra 1 and 8th grade.
If I
So
could
where do
mention,
students go? Where do students go after Science 2 Advanced in 7th grade? What's the next course in science?
that would be physical science honors in 8th grade.
So even after even Science 2 Advanced, they go to physical science?
No.
No,
If they're
I'm
in
sorry, I
advanced,
misunderstood.
if they're in advanced, they go in 8th grade, advanced science 3.
Yes.
So is there an option if you have a 7th grader to be able to move into the physical science honors, or is that only for incoming 6th graders this year?
So that option, we're bringing the accelerated in newly this year. So it's going to roll up with this year's current 6th graders. So currently we do not have 7th graders in an accelerated path because it is a new program at our school this year.
Okay, I have a quick question. I don't know if you guys already covered it, and if you guys did, please forgive me. But are the kids going to be informed about where they need to go and how this whole process is going to be handled, correct? Not just as parents, but they're also going to be, guided, especially now that there's kind of like the whole thing is kind of new for them, especially for a 6th grader.
When students register for courses we definitely, with the accelerated science students, in the accelerated science classes, we will definitely share with them like what their next steps are at registration time. And that usually happens around January, February. Did that answer your question?
Okay, thank you so much. No, as long as he knows where he needs to go and when he needs to do, I'm all good.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I have a question. I'm kind of getting lost a little bit in the terminology between advanced, accelerated, honors, and gifted. So is there a way that you guys can just kind of break those down for us?
So again, our purpose for this evening is we're talking about accelerated courses. We're talking about the high school level, which the algebra and geometry are coded as honors. And then we have high school level classes where we have Chinese, Spanish, and CT. So as we go through each slide, we're breaking it down as we go through each of those subjects. That's probably the easiest way to go through. We're not talking gifted. That's not, they follow the same standards as the other, like the regular courses. We're talking about the accelerated path and the high school level path for tonight's presentation. And then advanced is just like Ms. Long said, and that's for like science, social studies, and ELA. Advanced is just incorporating some of the advanced standards, but it's not at any accelerated path, or it's not at any high school level path. It's just advanced because they offer some of the different standards. So as we go through each subject, we're going to talk through them because it's a little bit different for math versus science.
Yes.
And things like that.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Leadership community. So leadership community is a high school class. It is an unweighted high school class. So that means if you get an A in that class, you would have a 4.0 GPA for that course. So like I said, leadership is a high school course that, builds strong leadership, community work, And some of the projects that they do in that leadership is they work with Metropolitan Ministries, and they do Angel Tree. They also gather food for Metropolitan Ministries. They do a lot of community-based projects. And so because they have to organize the projects, and because they also have to like go into the cafeteria, and a couple of them like do speeches about trying to get the students to bring in canned foods and things like that, because they have to make speeches and so on. That's why it is called a leadership community course. So that is a high school course, and that kids really, really love it. We ended up offering only one period when we first started, but then now that built into 2 periods. So we have many kids who are requesting to take that community-based high school course project that they love to participate in. And they also write letters to military around Christmas time, just things like that to build morale and, you know, spirit. Okay, any questions with that? And it is an elective course, by the way. It's a high school elective course. Okay, world languages, Mr. Lee.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Lee. I teach Mandarin Chinese. Talking about world languages, although they are elective courses, but all world language courses are high school credit courses. Although we're in the middle school, students have the opportunity of getting the world language credits. In Summer Springs Middle School, we offer 2 languages. One is Spanish, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. And Chinese. Mandarin Chinese has 3 levels, Chinese 1, Chinese 2, and then Chinese 3. But Chinese 3 is an honors course. And there is, after this slide, we will explain the difference between the regular world language courses and honors courses, the difference between them. But as of now, I hope all parents understand, although we're in middle school and students are taking a high school credit language course, these credits will show up on the students' high school transcripts. Although the students don't need a foreign language credit to graduate high school, but they do need the credits to go to college. And many colleges are right now actually raising their requirements for students to take the same language for a certain amount of years. So that also means that when colleges look at your students' high school transcripts, it won't make a difference if the student took the high school credit course, language course, in the middle school level or in high school level. They will all show up the same as the foreign language credit. And Susan, would you like to move on to the next slide?
Yes.
In Summer Springs Middle School, we offer Chinese 3 honors. Actually, as a Mandarin Chinese course, we are the only in-classroom course for Mandarin Chinese in Pasco County. Our students have the opportunity to take Chinese 3 honors. The only difference between the honor class and the rest of the foreign language classes is that the honors weigh more. For example, you can see on the slide, the A, if the student gets an A, the honors course in Chinese 3, the A will weigh more than the regular course. They'll weigh 4.5 rather than 4.
So I think what definitely, just to reiterate what he was saying, is that if you go back to this, your Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Chinese 1, and Chinese 2 are unweighted high school classes. So they would fall into this grade point average for the course. When you are taking honors level class, anything with a high school course with honors, it will have an extra weight to their high school GPA. Okay, so if they get an A, they'll get a 4.5 GPA for that class.
There are some questions about students taking when they can take the courses if the Mitchell High School offer Chinese course. We are the only Mandarin Chinese classroom class. So other students, no matter if they are in Mitchell High or other schools, if they want to learn Chinese, will have to take online Chinese, which is through for the virtual school and Pascal e-school. And in Seven Springs Middle School, the students are offered Chinese 1 from 6th grade and 7th grade. And Spanish starts with 7th grade students.
Any questions? Okay.
There's quite a bit in the chat I'm trying to answer. So I'm putting responses to those of you that are asking some questions, just to kind of, I know that the big thing with accelerated science and advanced was a big question. So I'll just check the chat for those, and we can clarify later as well.
I have a question. If the high school classes that the students are taking in the middle school are not weighted, and like my child who's taking 4 high school classes, when they get to high school, then their high school GPA is not going to be weighted. So as they make it through their freshman year, their overall high school GPA will be pulled down by these high school classes that weren't weighted.
And one thing I do want to tell you is that whether if it's in the middle school level or a high school level, these courses like leadership, they're not weighted. So they have the same weight as it would in the high school.
Yes, but in the high school, in the freshman year, he could be taking honors courses or AP courses. So the more high school courses it seems like he's taking at the middle school, the more it's going to bring down his freshman GPA once he does complete a full year at high school. Am I understanding that correctly?
It depends on, like you said, it could and it may not. It also depends on the grade that they get. So I understand what you're saying. When they get to, one of the main reasons why a lot of middle schoolers take like Spanish 1, because if you are wanting to go to a 4-year college out of high school, you're going to need to take, whether you're high school and middle school, where you take it, you're going to need a 2-year foreign language of the same language class. So
but then why not take it at the high school where they
you
could
can
take
you can
and get
definitely
honors?
take it. You can definitely take, well, even at the high school, they don't offer Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 honors. Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 at the high school and middle school are all unweighted. It's only when they get to Spanish 3 or Chinese 3 that it starts becoming honors.
And it's AP Spanish, it's not honors. They don't offer that at the high school. It's just Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and I think Spanish 3. And then as a senior, they can take AP Spanish.
Okay. So no matter what, you still have to take whatever language you pick, whether if it's Spanish or whether if it's Chinese, you still have to take, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, or Chinese 1 and Chinese 2 before you go into AP Spanish or Chinese 3 honors.
What about dual enrollment Spanish? Do they offer that at the high schools?
That you would have to ask the high school. Again, like I said, we're only talking about what is offered at the Seven Springs Middle School and the high school courses that we offer.
Thank you, ma'am.
There's different requirements for dual enrollment too, with kind of the progression that they take. And that kind of goes back to why it's really important that when students are in high school level courses, they know things like that too, how it does impact their high school level GPA. And also that we want to make sure they're understanding that the grade they do get impacts that, and why we wanted to let everybody know different supports that are offered, and as parents and as students, how to make sure we're staying on top of those grades. And if we're having concerns about the high school level course, that we're having those conversations with our teachers, with admin, so we can look to see if this is a good fit. And that's why when we're deciding on, I know the question came up, is how are students placed in these courses? We look at a lot for accelerated when a kid is coming into 6th grade accelerated math or 6th grade accelerated science, which is new this year, the science. We work with the elementary schools to look at their grades, recommendations on how they're doing in class, along with the NWEA quarterly checks they used to have, and FSA, and not just one data point. Like we look over years to make sure when we're placing students that, and of course through the registration process and parent input, that we're making sure it is a good fit. And sometimes we're worried as parents to put our kids in there, but I think somebody expressed like we chose to keep them not in the accelerated. And then we've had conversations where we were told to put them in accelerated and we were worried about it, but we're happy they are because Ms. Seibert has been doing this many years and she knows, and so do our teachers. Students who can keep up with that challenge and should be pushed in that direction. So it is a lot of like, we want to make sure we're giving these opportunities for kids, but also wanting you guys to know too, like, we don't want to just shove them in every high school class there is. That's not the purpose. It's
Right.
what's meaningful and helpful for them to prepare on the path that they want to go as well. So these are great questions with like the honors and the regular, because just so you do know that they will be regular in high school. So I hope that answered your question. I think it was Eric that was asking those.
And the other thing I do want to just add in there is that a lot of students want to take foreign world language classes because they just want to learn about other cultures. But the other thing too is that a lot of the students that do want to go to four-year college directly after high school is that they want to have space in their high school schedule to take college classes. So they are taking foreign language in the middle school level. But we definitely encourage them, like if they're going to do that, make sure that they are serious about that, taking that world language, because it will impact their college admissions. Because colleges do look at what you take in that foreign language class, because you don't need foreign language to graduate high school. However, you do need it to get into college for college admissions. Does that make sense? Okay, we're going to go on to the next slide.
Absolutely.
Okay, CT, Mr. Arriaga.
Good evening. This is Ms. Arriaga. I will be talking to you about CTE. CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. The two courses we offer are unweighted, which means the highest in GPA they can achieve is a 4.0. The two courses that we offer are both year-long courses: digital media, digital multimedia, and foundations of robotics. The importance of these two courses is their first is that they are year one of 3 to 4 year tracks. So they have career pathways. So after they have completed digital multimedia, they can continue that career pathway into Mitchell High School under the digital design career pathway. If they're taking foundations of robotics, again, it's a year course. The highest GPA they can achieve is a 4.0, and this will put them in the career track of engineering career pathway, which is available at Wendell Crinn High School, which is an option for our students. The second component of our CTE courses is that there's an opportunity to earn an industry certification at both courses. This has validity on two levels. Number one, a career industry certification enhances any resume when it comes to looking for employment, whether it's during college or after college. Also, it offers an extra component that shows and demonstrates to colleges that the student is able to maintain not only the rigor, but also successfully complete and pass a industry certification. Long are the days where strictly academics was what allow you to be competitive. Nowadays, colleges are looking for what else have you done? How else can you demonstrate that you will be a good fit into our program? You notice that both of them, Foundation of Robotics is an engineering track, which does not stop at the high school level, unlike a lot of old CTE courses used to be tied to. Now the RCTE courses directly tie into college careers. So it is an element that in a global economy where students are competing in a global scale for those very coveted spots, in our schools, in the universities. These are elements that allow them to enhance their resume, to stand out, and to give them potentially more opportunities to be the winners at those competitive colleges.
Okay, do you want me to go on?
Yep.
Okay. One thing we also wanted you to know is the big why of why we are presenting this is because when your child is taking accelerated or high school classes, we do want you to know what is it that colleges are looking for. And remember, every year it could change the admissions requirement, but the state universities in Florida in 2021, these are the requirements that they expected the students to have when they are going through high school. So they wanted 4 years of English, 4 years in math, starting with Algebra 1, and then 3 years in natural science, with 2 of them being lab courses, 3 years of social studies, 2 years in this, 2 years of world language or foreign language, but it has to be the same language. So it can't be Chinese 1 and then Spanish 1. It has to be in the same language, and then 2 electives. So we just wanted to kind of give you a little light view of what is it that colleges are looking for when a senior is applying for a college in the 4-year college programs. The other thing is I did want to show you, because some of these students are starting to take those high school courses, just wanted to let you know when you step foot in high school, not when you're in, even though you're in middle school and you're taking high school classes, you still won't have this account. But when your child starts going to high school day 1, they will start having a Florida Shines where you can actually go into start looking at college readiness. And then in each of these, if you notice these tabs, you can click on and it'll tell you like 9th grade, what is it that I need to do here in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer to get me ready for that college readiness. So that's the college readiness checklist. And they have that for each grade level that your child goes through so that they can kind of check off as they go through high school, okay? And then the other thing I did want to show you is this. This also shows you about scholarships. So you can ask and you can look at your child's records and say, is my child ready for, college, 4-year college? And also, what are my chances or my child's chances of getting that a college scholarship? And what is it that he or she needs to do to get that college scholarship? Okay. And then the other thing I did want to show you is in the 2021, this is the 2021 Florida University's admission requirements. What is the average person's SAT, ACT scores, as well as high school GPA? So if you look at a university, like for example, FSU. So if you look at FSU, go Seminoles, right? And the average admissions that a freshman earned was between a 4.2 and a 4.6 high school GPA to be admitted, and that was an average freshman GPA. So you can look at that, and you can also see what is it that the GPA requirements are, the ACT requirements are, and the SAT requirements to get into those particular colleges that you might be interested in, and then set those goals. And then the other thing I just want to quickly cover is the questions that some of these sample questions that college applications ask is that colleges want to know about what type of core classes did you take? Did you take foreign language classes, AP, dual enrollment, honors, extracurricular activities, volunteer community service hours, awards or honors that you've received, SAT, overall GPA, and class rank, okay? And this is a college website link that you can, for the Florida universities, that you can actually see Florida Shines. And then just some helpful tips. Why we wanted to present this to you is that big picture, because we know ultimately our goal is to get your child ready for high school and college and life readiness and career, okay? So how is it that you as parents can help your child become successful through middle school, high school, and just career? Help your child to be organized. That is a very big thing. And, have a designated location at home whether if it is a dining room table, on a table, big table, or in the bedroom where they have a desk, but have a designated location where they do homework and make that consistent, because then they'll be used to the environment, they're used to the surroundings, and that will help them get focused. Set quarterly goals, work with your child's teacher and staff, and then also check your child's grades and attendance weekly. Every week, check their grades, see if they're missing any assignments. And if they are, ask your child, why are you missing this assignment? What's going on? Those kind of things. Know your progress, know when the progress reports and report card dates are, like when does it go live? So you can see as a parent, like, how is my child doing for quarter one? We just posted, teachers just submitted, progress reports. So that should be coming out soon for parents to see. And then also is check your child's My Learning assignments. Make sure that they're submitting those assignments. And also is that, teach your child to be a self-advocate. One of the big things that our school really promotes is ROAR. We want children to be successful. We want them to be self-advocates. We want them to make sure they're doing assignments and making sure they're doing it on time, but they're also being responsible. So one thing is part of being in secondary is just learning to be able to speak up for themselves and, ask the teacher if they're not sure about content that they're learning that to ask for help. And then I'll ask to meet with the teacher and say, I really need some help with this. When can I meet with you? So
I'm going to just step in real quick, Miss Seibert.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you. My computer might die, so it might get kicked off of Zoom. But we're going to take your questions and use this to help get out some information to all of you guys. We will blast it out in our email that we had reached out to you with the link and everything. So you guys asked some really great questions. You gave us some great ideas to put in, like a progression of where the courses are between advanced and accelerated and honors to kind of help. So we appreciate you guys asking all those. If we didn't get to some of your questions, some of them were personal to you and your child, I would ask you to reach out to your counselor or even your grade level administrator, or even start with the teachers. They would be happy to answer those questions. But I just wanted to thank you. I will turn it back to Ms. Seibert. But again, appreciate you guys being here this evening.
Have a nice weekend.
So, one thing we do want to say is that just teach your child to be a self-advocate, because one thing is that when they're in those high school level courses or college level courses, when they're in high school, they really do need to make sure that they can speak up for themselves, because teachers want to hear from the student, because they don't really know what the student is struggling with unless the student speak up. Okay, so that is one thing we do want to say. And one of the questions earlier that you guys said, why are students taking some high school classes in the middle school level? Again, some of the students, they do that so they can have space in their high school schedule to take college classes. So that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of our students take some high school level classes this early on, so they can take college classes when they're in high school. We definitely want to strongly encourage that. Have your child be a child, and that, have your child go at the pace that they can handle, but yet still enjoy being a student and enjoy school. Okay. I just wanted to say, are there any questions you have out there that I can answer before we end the session?
Yeah, Susan, there's a parent asking about the college requirements for the credits. Is the credits collectively needed together for college admissions, or math is needed only for particular courses in college, and Spanish credit is needed only for choosing Spanish-related courses in college?
So when you are looking for college admissions, what I can only tell you from what it is now, things could change. And that's the emphasis I'm putting in. It could change. As of now, that I know of, is that colleges are looking for foreign language classes. They are 2 years of minimum 2 years of world language. They are looking for that you took 4 years of math. When they're looking for math, minimum Algebra 1 or Algebra 1 honors. And of course, all freshmen Usually all freshmen have to take algebra, and all Florida students have to take algebra in order for them to graduate high school. So that's kind of a given anyway, but they also want you to take 3 years of math above algebra 1 or algebra 1 honors, okay? For science, they want you to take at least 3 years of science, but 2 of them have to involve labs. So that would be like your biology or biology honors. That would be your chemistry or chemistry honors. Those are considered lab science courses, okay? And then of course they want 4 years of foreign language. So those are the kind of criteria that they're looking for. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions out there that's riveting questions that you feel like you need to know?
Yes, it is a lot to absorb for sure.
It
I like
is.
that. And we'll probably host something like this again because we know there's some things for maybe 8th grade parents to be ready for in the springtime. So, and feel free to reach out to your grade level counselor and then of course administrator if you guys have questions. And again, like I said, your teachers are definitely a great person to reach out to first as well.
And thank you, parents, so much. Thank you, teachers, so much for giving your time up this evening and presenting this information so that our parents are informed. And thank you, parents, for attending this event. And thank you for supporting your child's education.
Lastly,
Susan.
Yes.
Sorry. Some parents are asking how and when you'll be sharing the slides or the information so they can go back and look.
I can definitely put the PowerPoint in our school website, okay? So that you can go back and look.
And like I said, we're gonna send out the recording from today. We'll put it in an email that will go out tomorrow. We just gotta make sure it downloads. It's still recording at this time and we'll download it and email it out to everybody. And obviously the presentation's there. And then we can send it out that way too. And we'll gather all your questions and anything we did not cover or